The alarm shrieked through the medical wing of the Stellar Covenant like a dying Vargon beast, and I nearly dropped my data tablet. Again. Third time this cycle, and it was not even midday yet. Code Violet. Code Violet in Xenobiology Lab 3. The intercom blasted with all the subtlety of a meteor strike. I am Krell, senior medical officer aboard this flying circus of a research vessel, and I have seen my share of emergencies. Plasma burns, gravitational sickness, that unfortunate incident with the Thoraxian ambassador and the airlock, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened next. My 4 eyes blinked in sequence as I grabbed my emergency kit and sprinted down the corridor. Well, sprinted is generous. My species does not exactly excel at rapid movement. We are built more for thoughtful contemplation and excellent mathematical calculations, not foot races. What is the situation? I gasped into my communicator, my breathing apparatus wheezing with the effort. It is Marcus. He drank something from the restricted sample vault. That was Vri, our xenobiology specialist, and she sounded absolutely panicked. Vri never panicked. She once dissected a living plasma entity while it was actively trying to consume her arm, all while humming a tune from her homeworld. My central heart skipped exactly 3 beats. The restricted vault. Oh, stars and void. That vault contained the most lethal substances known to the galactic community. Neurotoxins that could dissolve a Kravex warrior in seconds. Acids that made molten lava look like a refreshing beverage. Biological agents banned by 17 different treaties, and Marcus, our human liaison, had drunk something from it. Humans. Why did it always have to be humans? I burst through the laboratory doors, expecting carnage. Blood. Screaming. Perhaps some dramatic final words about telling his family he loved them or whatever humans did before they died horribly. Instead, I found Marcus leaning against a workstation, looking mildly annoyed. His pale skin had not turned purple. His eyes had not dissolved. He was not convulsing on the floor in a pool of his own fluids, was checking his wrist device and frowning. Marcus. I shouted, rushing toward him with my medical scanner already deploying. Do not move. Stay calm. Help is here. He looked up at me with those strange, binocular eyes. Only 2 of them, which still unnerved me even after 6 months of working together. Oh, hey Krell. What is up? What is up? What is up? You ingested a lethal substance. I thrust my scanner at him, running full spectrum analysis. Vri said you drank from the restricted vault. Which compound? Tell me now so I can begin synthesizing an antidote before your organs liquefy. Marcus blinked. Once. Slowly. Then he started laughing. Oh man, he wheezed, actually wiping tears from his eyes. Is that what this is about? Dude, relax. I just grabbed what I thought was my coffee thermos. Turned out to be that Vendorian swamp extract we collected last week. My scanner completed its analysis, and I stared at the readout in disbelief. Then I ran it again, because clearly my equipment was malfunctioning. Marcus, I said slowly, my voice dropping to what I hoped was a calm, reasonable tone. The kind you use with someone who is clearly suffering from toxin-induced hallucinations. The Vendorian swamp extract is a Class 7 biohazard. It contains 43 different alkaloids, 12 types of neurotoxins, and something our computers literally cannot identify because it should not exist in nature. 1 drop can kill a full-grown Heptorian. You drank how much? He scratched his head, looking sheepish. I don't know, maybe half a cup? It tasted weird though. Kind of bitter. Not great, but I have had worse coffee on Earth. Vri made a sound somewhere between a wheeze and a wail. Her scales had gone completely pale, which in her species meant either extreme fear or she was about to molt. Given the circumstances, I was betting on fear. That is impossible, she whispered. The LD50 for that compound in most carbon-based life forms is 0.003 milliliters. He drank approximately 150 milliliters. He should be dead. Very dead. Extremely dead. Dead in ways we would need to invent new words to describe. Marcus shrugged. Just shrugged, as if we were discussing the weather and not his apparent immunity to substances that could be classified as war crimes. Yeah, I feel fine. Little bit of heartburn maybe. You got any antacids? My training took over. Pure medical protocol, because if I stopped to actually think about what I was witnessing, I might have a systemic failure myself. Sit down. Now. Medical bed 3. I am running a complete diagnostic. Come on, I have got a meeting with the navigation team in 20 minutes. Sit. Down. Something in my voice must have convinced him because he actually complied. Humans could be stubborn, I had learned. Incredibly, frustratingly stubborn. But occasionally, they recognized when someone meant business. I attached every monitor I had. Cardiac function, neural activity, blood chemistry, cellular integrity, the works. Behind me, Vri was already pulling up human medical databases, her claws clicking frantically across her interface. The results came back, and I read them 3 times. Your heart rate is elevated, I said flatly. Yeah, you guys kind of freaked me out with all the screaming and running. Your blood pressure is slightly high. Again, the screaming. And your stomach acid has increased production, likely to break down the foreign compounds. I looked at him over my scanner. That is it. That is literally it. No organ damage. No cellular death. Your liver is processing the toxins like they are mild alcohol. Cool. He gave me a thumbs up, the bizarre human gesture that still made no sense to me. So can I go? No. Vri and I shouted simultaneously. I began pacing, my tail swishing in agitation. This makes no sense. Human biology is resilient, yes. Your species has a remarkable immune system and exceptional healing capabilities compared to most spacefaring races. But this is not resilience. This is absurdity. Hey now, Marcus protested. That is kind of rude. It is not an insult. It is an observation. I gestured wildly at the monitors. Do you understand what you just survived? That swamp extract is used by Vendorian hunters to kill megalodons. Creatures the size of your earth whales. You drank it like it was a mild beverage. Marcus seemed to consider this. So what you are saying is I probably should not finish it? No. No, you absolutely should not finish it. Where is the container? I need to properly dispose of it before someone else, anyone else, makes the same mistake. He pointed to a thermos sitting innocently on the counter. I approached it like it was an armed explosive. Which, frankly, it might as well have been using level 4 containment gloves. I carefully picked it up and peered inside. About half remained. The liquid was a murky green-brown, with an oily sheen on the surface that shifted with colors that hurt to look at directly. You thought this was coffee? I asked incredulously. It was early. I had not had my coffee yet. You see the problem here? I did not know whether to laugh or file a formal complaint with the Galactic Medical Board. Possibly both. Run a full genetic scan, Vri said suddenly. She had stopped panicking and entered what I called her science mode. Eyes focused, scales flat, completely absorbed in the data. I want to know exactly what makes human physiology capable of this. There has to be something we are missing. Some adaptation, some biological quirk. Already on it, I muttered, adjusting the scanner settings. That was when Marcus's communicator beeped. He glanced at it and grimaced. The meeting got moved up. Guys, seriously, I feel fine. Can I please go? I promise if I start dying, you will be the first to know. That is not how toxicology works. I protested, but he was already unhooking himself from the monitors, moving with that peculiar human energy that suggested he could not sit still for more than a few minutes at a time. Another odd trait of theirs. Marcus's weight, he grabbed his actual coffee thermos from beside the contaminated one. They looked nearly identical, which explained the confusion. Sort of. If you ignored the part where one was clearly labeled with biohazard symbols in 17 different languages. Thanks for the concern, Doc, Marcus said, already heading for the door. But I have really got to run. Let me know if those test results show anything interesting. And just like that, he was gone. I stood there, surrounded by medical equipment still beeping with normal, healthy readings, holding a thermos of liquid death, questioning every decision that had led me to this moment. Vri broke the silence first. Want to hear something terrifying? More terrifying than what just happened. According to the human database, this is not even unusual for them. I closed all 4 of my eyes. Explain. Vri pulled up a holographic display that made my scales itch just looking at it. Lists. Endless lists of substances that were supposed to kill humans but apparently just made them slightly uncomfortable instead. Ethanol, she began, her voice taking on that lecturing tone she used when she had found something particularly fascinating and horrible. A solvent that humans voluntarily consume for recreational purposes. It literally destroys cellular function. They drink it at parties. I know about ethanol, I muttered. Marcus brought some to the last station celebration. Called it whiskey. I analyzed it. It could strip paint. Capsaicin. A neurotoxin produced by plants as a defense mechanism. Humans sprinkle it on their food and compete to see who can tolerate the highest concentrations. You are making that up. I am not. Look. She thrust a datapad at me showing images of humans consuming something called hot peppers, their faces red and streaming with fluids, clearly in distress, and yet they were smiling. Smiling, I scrolled through more entries, each one more baffling than the last. Caffeine, a cardiac stimulant they consumed daily. Theobromine, lethal to most species, found in something they called chocolate. Alcohol sugars that would cause organ failure in Kravex, which humans used as diet sweeteners. This is madness, I whispered. How did they evolve like this? What kind of death world produces organisms this resilient? Earth, Vri said simply. I did some research after Marcus joined the crew. Their planet is classified as a Class 4 hazard world. Do you know what lives there? Everything wants to kill everything else. Poisonous plants everywhere. Venomous creatures in the oceans, on land, even in the trees. bacteria that eat flesh. Viruses that jump between species. And humans just, what is the phrase they use, vibed with it. Vibed? I am still learning human slang. The point is, they adapted. Their immune systems became hyperactive. Their livers became chemical processing factories. Their stomach acid could dissolve metal. They built tolerance to toxins that would wipe out entire colonies of other species. I slumped against the workstation, feeling suddenly very tired. So what you are telling me is that we panicked over nothing. Marcus was never in danger. Oh no, he was absolutely in danger, Vri corrected. The Vendorian extract should have killed him. It still might, actually. We should monitor him for the next 72 hours. But his chances of survival are, somehow, inexplicably high. Maybe 70%? 70%? He drank enough poison to kill a battalion and he has a 70% survival rate? Humans. She said it like it explained everything. And honestly, maybe it did. My communicator chirped. It was Captain Thorne, our Vexarian commander. Krell, status report. I heard we had a medical emergency? I exchanged a glance with Vri. How exactly did one explain this situation? Captain, the emergency has been, resolved. Temporarily. Maybe. I am still not entirely sure. Elaborate. So I did. I explained the whole absurd situation while Captain Thorne listened in what I assumed was stunned silence. Vexarians did not have particularly expressive faces, all chitin and compound eyes, but I imagined she was making the same bewildered expression I was. When I finished, there was a long pause. Let me get this straight, she finally said. Marcus ingested a Class 7 biohazard, suffered no significant damage, and is currently in a navigation meeting? That is correct, Captain. Another pause. Longer this time. Is he going to die? Probably not. Probably? Captain, I am a medical professional, not a prophet. Human biology apparently operates on different rules than the rest of the known galaxy. For all I know, he will be completely fine. Or he might spontaneously combust in 6 hours. I genuinely cannot predict anymore. I heard what might have been a sigh. Keep monitoring him. Discreetly. I do not want to cause a panic. And Krell? Secure that restricted vault properly. Add more locks. Add biometric scanners. Add a moat with guard animals if you have to. I do not care. Just make sure this does not happen again. Understood, Captain. The comm clicked off, and I looked at Vri. A moat with guard animals? I think she was being metaphorical. With Captain Thorne, you never know. We spent the next hour implementing new security protocols on the restricted vault. Retinal scanners, password protections, proximity alarms, and yes, even a physical lock that required an actual key. Old-fashioned, but effective. I also took the liberty of adding a large sign that read, "Not coffee." Seriously. This will kill you. Vri suggested adding more specific details, so we amended it to include, yes, even you, humans. Probably. Maybe. We think. As we worked, my mind kept circling back to the fundamental absurdity of it all. Humans had been part of the galactic community for barely 2 decades. In that time, they had already earned a reputation for being unpredictable, stubborn, and alarmingly difficult to kill. There were stories. Station techs who survived exposure to hard vacuum for almost 3 minutes. Soldiers who walked off injuries that would have hospitalized any other species for months. A human engineer who apparently got struck by lightning twice and just complained about his hair standing up, had dismissed most of them as exaggerations. Tall tales that grew with each retelling. But now, having witnessed Marcus casually survive what should have been certain death, I was starting to wonder if maybe, just maybe, those stories were not exaggerated enough. I am going to check on him, I announced, grabbing my portable scanner. The captain said discreetly, Vri reminded me. I can be discreet. I could not be discreet. I found Marcus in the navigation room, surrounded by holographic star charts and 3 very confused-looking navigators. He was gesturing animatedly, explaining something about optimal jump routes, and looked absolutely fine, better than fine, actually. He looked energized. Hey Krell, he called out when he spotted me lurking in the doorway. Come to check if I am still alive? So much for discretion. Just a routine follow-up, I said smoothly, or at least I thought it was smooth. The navigators were all staring at me. Continue your meeting. Pretend I am not here. I deployed my scanner, trying to be subtle about it. Marcus rolled his eyes but cooperated, continuing his explanation about gravitational slingshot trajectories while I took readings. Everything was normal. Perfectly, impossibly normal. His toxin levels were already dropping, his liver working overtime to process and eliminate the foreign compounds. At this rate, he would be completely clear within 6 hours. 6 hours. It would have taken most species 6 weeks. If they survived at all. All good? Marcus asked when I finished. Yes. Somehow. Against all logic and reason, you are fine. Told you. He turned back to the navigators. Anyway, as I was saying, if we adjust our approach vector by 0.3 degrees, I left them to their meeting and wandered back to the medical bay in a daze. The universe made sense yesterday. There were rules. Biological principles. Logical cause and effect relationships between toxins and mortality, and then humans showed up and threw all of that into a black hole. Vri was waiting for me with 2 steaming cups of something that definitely was not coffee. Some Krell blend that tasted like spice dirt, but it was safe and familiar and would absolutely not try to kill me. How is he? She asked. Thriving. Actually thriving. I think the poison might have given him more energy. Humans, she said again, that same tired inflection, sat in silence for a while, sipping our drinks and contemplating the cosmic joke that was human biology. You know what the worst part is? I finally said. What? This is going to happen again. Maybe not with Marcus. Maybe not with poison. But something else, something equally impossible, and we are going to panic, and they are going to be fine. Because that is just what humans do. Vri clicked her claws thoughtfully. We should start a betting pool. A what? A betting pool. For the next human incident. I give it 2 weeks before someone does something that should be lethal and just walks it off. I considered this. It was unprofessional. Probably violated several medical ethics guidelines. Definitely not something I should encourage as senior medical officer. I give it 1 week, I said. 50 credits says it involves the engine room. Deal. We shook on it, claw to manipulator appendage, 2 exhausted medical professionals who had given up on understanding and decided to just start documenting the madness instead, somewhere in the distance. I heard Marcus laugh at something one of the navigators said. A sound full of life and energy and that peculiar human quality that made them simultaneously the most frustrating and most fascinating species in the galaxy. They rushed him to med bay for poison. He walked back with coffee, and somehow, that was just another Tuesday on the Stellar Covenant.